Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Shots Fired podcast. As usual, and as always, you got your boy Big Joe.
You got your boy Julio the Don.
You got your boy J-Hat.
Folks, we got a lot of news to cover. We got some topics we got to get out of the way, and we're hoping it's a rather entertaining show for you. So we'll get right into it first, right off the bat. We can't do pick'ems anymore. They're gone for another 7 months, unfortunately. So we are starting off with Jade. You got it ready? Starting off with this one. Matt Stafford finally wins the big one. Now, who's more likely to return to the Super Bowl first? Matt Stafford or Joe Burrow and them boys? Julio, what you got, man?
Oh man, where to begin? If this is the first question right out of the gate, I'm gonna have to say I have more faith that Burrow and them boys would make it before Matt Stafford and the Rams will. Only because
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm very confident in my decision.
Okay.
Why is that?
Look, Cincinnati's only got a couple of things they need to tweak. We all saw that they definitely need to get help on the offensive line. Like big time, super big time. If they had that, I honestly think that if they would have had an offensive line, they would have had a better shot at winning that game, if not winning the Super Bowl in general. But that's my opinion. Those are my 2 cents. They were running the ball relatively well, not all the time, but spurts here and there. And then, Joe didn't have time to throw the ball to save his life. So, again, Joe being Joe Cool, trying to be Joe Cool, it's kind of hard to be Joe Cool when you got Aaron Donald breathing down your neck every 5 seconds. So,
yeah,
I honestly think that would have helped them win the Super Bowl.
I think him coming out unscathed has still made him Joe Cool. And just the way he's reacted to the loss and the way he said, we came up short, we'll be back. To me, that's a sign of a leader. Instead of going back through the season and picking out every mistake you got, he's like, hey, we still got work to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they do. Their line does. I wish we had leadership like that, but we don't. So we got to stick with someone that keeps blaming refs and shit. And I've seen so many interviews with that guy. Just, if the refs would have blah, blah, blah. Take ownership, bro. You fucked up. Take ownership. Take it on the chin. Y'all's ass should be at the Star right now working out.
That's what that is, bro. I mean, that's real. To me, I feel like Matt Stafford has the better chance to make it back to the Super Bowl before Burrow. And there's a couple of reasons why. One, they've already got the squad. Now, everybody's going to lose free agents and salary cap, be damn. These guys went all in for this Super Bowl. Now they're trying to run it back. The tough thing is now you're going to have to pay Aaron Donald. Matt Stafford, you're going to have to pay. Matt Stafford, I think, made like mid-20s salary. He's due. He's due for an upgrade. Now, how much are you going to have to pay him? How much is he willing to go the Tom Brady route and take less to acquire and retain other pieces around him? I don't know. But I look at that and I'm like, okay, Burrow still has to get through Buffalo. He still has to get through KC. He still has to get through Baltimore. To me, that it's tougher to get to the Super Bowl through the AFC than the NFC, because if you're looking at the NFC, Aaron Rodgers might be going to to Denver. And that leaves a big hole in Green Bay. Who are you going to put? Jordan Love? Jordan Love ain't going to take Green Bay to the playoffs. Seattle, Russ. I don't know if he's going to do anything. Jimmy G gone in San Francisco. You got the Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Okay, so we win the NFC East, but there's still, who else is really out there? Arizona that you got to get by. Kyler Murray's shitting all over his team right now, and scrubbing his social media page, getting rid of any mentions of his club. Who's really tripping people up in the NFC? Stafford's got it, man. He's got a clearer path, in my opinion. And like I said, he's got some players around him, supporting cast. And I think, like you said, Julio, Joe Burrow just needs a line. But you don't just pick up linemen that are going to keep your quarterback upright just out of nowhere. He's suffering the same thing Andrew Luck went through in Indy. Andrew Luck had his career shortened because he didn't ever get a line to block for him. And that's what's happening to Burrow. Look at Burrow in the Super Bowl. They freaking bent his knee. I was like, he's out. He's got to be out. He was hobbling off the field. So I do agree that Burrow being younger, eventually he's got to get back, right? I mean, eventually he's got to get back. But who do I think is going to get there first? I think Matt Stafford has a better chance, unless the salary cap just destroys that roster. At which point it's like, okay, well,
they can't afford to keep everybody.
Right. How many more years can you kind of maintain that roster and those players before it's just like, okay, everything has to come crumbling down? So if they're going to do it, they got to do it now. So just my opinion. Another thing from the Super Bowl I wanted to talk to you guys about. We don't have a graphic for it because we just don't. But I wanted to ask you, in the Super Bowl, who did you think was the MVP of the Super Bowl? They gave it to Cooper Kupp. Do you agree that he was the reason why? Do you agree he should have been the unanimous MVP, or do you think somebody else should have gotten it? Anybody?
Go ahead, Julio.
Oh, okay. In my opinion, that Super Bowl MVP should have gone to Aaron Donald. That's my opinion. I'm a defensive guy at heart anyway. Mm-hmm. I love watching defenses destroy offenses. That's just my thing. I'm not into the whole high point scoring games, even though everybody loves to see those games.
Right.
I'd rather see, people getting destroyed on the field with big hits and making sacks, and that's what excites me about the game. So I'm a little biased when it comes to that, because it's always given. Most of the time, it's always given to the offense, an offensive player, either a running back, wide receiver, quarterback. They're the so-called saviors of the Super Bowl. But in my opinion, Aaron Donald, again mentioning that guy, played his ass off during the Super Bowl. I mean, literally, you felt his presence throughout the entire game. He was on Joe Burrow all game long. And if you look back at the last play to win the Super Bowl was Aaron Donald sacking Joe Burrow to close out the game. So if anybody, in my opinion, that should have got the Super Bowl MVP, it should have been him.
All right. What about you, J-Hat?
I didn't get to watch the Super Bowl. I was at work. However, I did watch Aaron Donald's highlights versus Cooper Kupp's, and I believe that Aaron Donald should have got it. Just based off the way he played versus Kupp.
So you think his contribution to the win was higher than Cooper Kupp?
Yeah.
You guys both think that?
Yeah, because Jamar Chase was open on the last play, and if he wouldn't have sacked Joe, and if Joe would have got that ball out, it would have been game over. Because he had Jalen Ramsey beat on the ground.
Yeah, I don't
Jalen
know why
Ramsey was on the
Jalen
ground.
Ramsey fell, but like, he was. There was a couple times he was on the ground. Um, yeah, I think Aaron Donald. He didn't dominate the entire game. He wasn't on Joe Burrow's ass the entire game. Now, what changed the momentum for Aaron Donald was Joe Burrow rolled out to his left, and he was trying to pick up a couple yards, but he was trotting towards the sideline, and Aaron Donald shoved his ass, and he went flying into the players and the bench, and then there was like a big scrum on the sideline between the Rams and the Bengals, and then it was like, oh
Yep.
shit, now it's getting real, and I think that turned Aaron Donald on, like that revved him up. He was like, all right, now I'm getting into my rhythm, my flow. Now it's a game, and then from there he started to take over the game. He started to impose his will on that offensive line. My immediate thought was he should have been doing that the entire game, but it took that little nudge to get him
It
going.
was, in my opinion, I agree with you on that. He did ramp up his gameplay after that little incident happened, that little scrum. You could tell that it finally like it turned the switch on. Like, oh, okay,
Yep.
y'all want to play?
Right.
Bet we can play. But the thing with that is that watching the game again, being biased because I am a defensive guy. Um, Watching the game, you could see that at the beginning, Cincinnati was doing a decent job double, triple teaming Aaron
Triple
Donald when
teaming.
they had at the beginning of the game. As the game progressed, and especially after that little small incident, you could tell that after he turned it on and he was like, okay, y'all want to play? All right, let's play. After he turned that switch on, you could totally tell that he did not give that offensive line a chance in hell to keep up with him, to be
Right.
able to put the double team on him or anything at that point.
Right.
So I agree with you to a certain extent, but I could tell from the beginning of the game he was trying to get there. But like I just said, at the beginning of the game, they were successfully at times double, even triple teaming him at the very beginning of the game. So it kind of took him away from that part. But again, to boast off of what you said, especially when it got to the point to where they had that little scrum, like any player, if somebody shoves you in the middle of a game, you're like, oh, so that's how we're doing things now. That's how we're
Bet.
feeling now.
Bet.
You feeling yourself now. Bet. Let's go. Let's go.
Right.
Come on. Y'all want to play?
Right.
Let's play.
So to me, like when I saw the start of the game, it was OBJ. He was hot, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be OBJ's redemption game, and he's really gonna be out here like, y'all slept on me, y'all shit on me when I was in Cleveland, and everybody said I was finished, and then I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna show y'all that I still got it in me. Then he gets hurt on a non-contact play, trying to catch the ball, just drops, tears his ACL from what I heard.
Yeah.
And it's the same one I believe that he had previously torn.
Mm-hmm.
So he's out, and now Cooper Kupp, who's been the consistent number one there throughout the majority of the year and leads all the NFL receivers in receptions, yards, touchdowns. I mean, this guy's doing it all, and he's like, okay, y'all really about to see who I am. And so to me, I think it was justified giving it to Cooper Kupp because he's out there catching balls, stepping up when they don't have a legitimate number two now because OBJ's out. And he's still making plays. You know the ball, Stafford's looking for him. You know it, but you can't stop it. And then he's drawing penalties at the end of the game. There weren't a lot of penalties in the Super Bowl, but then at the end, you see him draw the penalty, keep the drive going, and eventually catch the game-winning touchdown. So I think Cooper Kupp was rightfully given the award, but if they would have given it to Aaron Donald, I wouldn't have complained. I definitely agree with you guys that he very easily could have been the one that was the recipient of that award. He played his ass off, but it wasn't 4 quarters played his ass off. He didn't dominate start to finish. So just my opinion, man.
I semi still agree with that, but okay, yeah, I guess.
I mean, I'm gonna get you
Uh,
converted, bro.
no, and like I said, I mean, I don't take nothing away from Cooper Kupp. I really
Right,
don't. You can
right,
obviously tell that, you know, especially after OBJ hurt himself, that it was time for him to step up. It was time for
right.
him to become the guy that he's always been for the latter part of the season for the Rams. So he proved that he could do that on his own, that there's no backup needed, there's no secondary guy. He doesn't need a 2 or 3. You know, some people will say that, but you know,
Right.
everybody needs a supporting cast, and he did play his ass off. But I mean, again, I'm gonna go back to my defensive side and be like, Aaron Donald deserved that Super Bowl MVP. That's just my 2 cents.
That's all right, fam. You're entitled to your opinion. It don't always got to be right, but you're entitled to it. That's what makes
Oh,
it.
I'm always right. I'm always
That's
right.
that's what makes it unique about this show. You're entitled to have an opinion, even if it's dead ass wrong. It's our
Yeah,
show,
sure.
damn.
Whatever you say.